Hey there, welcome, it's Egwin from Beyond Systems. Welcome back to the channel. Now today we're talking about yet another aspect of the core series, and yes, another exercise in the water. In the last exercise about the water, or that we performed in the water, we were talking about rotatory stability in the body, and now today I want to add another dimension to this whole thing. Again, we will start with our feet, with the inside edges of our feet parallel to each other. And now we'll start with a simple sort of warm up, getting in flow movement before we jump to the specific exercise of this video. If you're completely new and you haven't seen the last one, let me just quickly wrap it up what you're doing here. In the core series, I'm talking about core function, core stability, core mobility, core training. And I also use different elements to include in this, like for instance, working in water, like hanging from the ceiling, and so on and so on. No, not on your throat, but wrapped around the waist and so on, to actually trigger the body in different ways and literally train the core in a very holistic way. The water is a wonderful teacher, can be a wonderful teacher. It helps us a lot to really understand the body, really understand flow, really understand stability in a completely different level. And it trains us very gently. Although this is a seemingly quite gentle movement practice, if done properly with the correct mindset and focus, it is still something that not just beginners can learn something from, but that also professionals can have massive benefit from in terms of intuitive understanding of their biomechanics, being more able to tune in and to train in a very, very, very sophisticated way, so that their motor control gets better, so that their stability improves, and their overall coordination and connection in the body improves. Okay, and now let's jump right in the exercise of today. Inside edges of the feet are parallel. We are immersed in the water roughly up to the point where our rib cage begins. We let our arms just simply drop in the water. Again, depending on the water that you are in, the arms might float a little more or might drop down. It doesn't matter, just let the arms be in the water however they feel comfortable. Do not try to hold them in any specific way. Do not try to force them, force something specific on them. Just let them float. What we're doing now is just drop a tiny little bit into your knees, like so, whoop. And now just start to turn your hips. In the last video, we've been talking about turning the body with hips and shoulders sort of locked with each other. Right now, it's not hips and shoulders locked with each other. Right now, it's literally my hip turning from the left to the right. Start out very slow and very gentle, and allow for the rest of the body to sort of have this time dilated rotation to it. So when we only focus on the hips, now it's more a relaxing exercise, something where due to the drag in the water, the hip might already turn in the new direction while the body is still pushed to the left side due to the resistance in the water. So this will create this gentle twisting motion in my whole spine. This is just to wake up. Do not start this exercise with massive and really aggressive movement of the pelvic ring. Why? Because the water, it always seems to be such a nice and calm and stable element, and so such a soft element. But when we put drag on it, due to speeding up a process like that, we have the arms immersed in there, and like we create this sort of turbulence in the water, there is a lot of pressure, a lot of power building up. Right now, it's not about a training in terms of a training for my abdominals or for my lumbar spine or anything like that. It's about a relaxation, namely for the thoracic spine and my shoulder area. Make sure that when you perform this movement, your lumbar spine is safe. Whenever you feel pressure building up in your lumbar spine, even a little bit, then reduce the speed of the movement again. This is extremely important in order not to hurt your lumbar spine because it is not built for rotation. Also, make sure, like I mentioned in the last video, don't drop in the habit of having this hollow back with more tension being in the lumbar spine than there is in the abdominals. And just try to make sure that you're literally like a Litmus column, a pretty upright centered column that rotates. Also, unlock your knees and make sure that as you turn, your knees go front and back to actually help to trigger this movement in the hip joints, rather than having completely straight knees and turning and then having this twisting motion in the knee joint. That's what we try to avoid. So bend your knees, allow for the knees to travel front and back. You do not want the feet on the ground to swivel. You want them parallel and straight. Another very important aspect here is what we're doing is a relaxation and just warm up, gentle opening aspect for the upper body. Yet, in terms of my knees and my hip joints and my ankles, this is more a strengthening and stability exercise because they have to control the movement. So when we do this, and we put a little bit of action, of power in there, especially with the additional drag in the water, we also work the muscles in the hips, which are part of core function. All right, this is exercise number 1 for this video. In this exercise, as I mentioned, it's more the warm-up and the more getting into it exercise. Next exercise, inside edges of the feet are still parallel, roughly at hip-wide stance apart. And what we'll do now is we'll simply swoop with the arms to the front, and we swoop with the arms to the back. We swoop with the arms to the front, we swoop with the arms to the back. Now, there is really a lot of emphasis on the action of lifting and the action of pushing down the arms. It is something that we do out of our shoulder joints. The task at hand is we have to stabilize the body in such a way that we do not fall over in the water when we move the arms. Because if we do not do anything in the body, if we relax the body and we push the arms down real hard, then we'll just simply whoop, drop to the front and, well, quote unquote, dive down. Same, moving the arms backwards very fast will fall over. Falling over in the water isn't that big of a deal, but it's not the exercise. So this is really to bring up the element, a completely new element, which is the element of translatory stabilization in my body. We have to use different muscles, especially in the hip joint, but also in the spine, to actually counteract this movement. As you can see, when you do this, in order not to fall over, you actually have to move your body center a little bit. All right, that's pretty much it. If you have questions, please leave them in the comment box down below. I'd suggest get started slowly, get into those movements gently and slowly. As mentioned again, it is not aqua gym, it's not aqua fitness. Dial into your body, tune into your body, do those movements, but be aware of all the muscle fibers that you activate from the bottom of your feet all the way up literally to your earlobes that are necessary to stabilize and to work. One wonderful thing that you could do with such movement, for example, is you can literally wake up your whole body before getting into another workout session. So this could, for instance, if you say, okay, I have an intense training day, if you're a professional, you could literally start by waking up the body, say after a break, after lunch break or something like that, by doing those movements and literally triggering the whole muscular system in a completely different way than you would do when you do those exercises on land, because there is more of this encompassing aspect of the water, there is more of that friction in the water and so on. So this is literally something that helps you a lot to wake up the body and then be able to take it to the next land-based training exercise, whatever that might be for you. Or you can use it as a standalone, just standalone movement practice for your regular day health if you're not in a professional movement area. All right. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll putting out much more content, but I try to keep the videos shorter, which is why I'll cut it here for now. If you're new to the channel, please click like, share, and also subscribe and hit the notification bell, especially when you want to stay up to date with more aspects of the core series, with everything literally that has to do with movement, with consciousness, with body structure, with how mind and body are connected. Then this channel is definitely something that you should give a go and try out. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a wonderful time. Thank you so much for watching, and see you around next time.